welcome to Jump Scare. I'm Betty B. Dudley.
And I'm Shad Youngblood. And today we're going to talk about Hellfest.
Nat? Oh my god, you're here? What?
I'm ready. You guys ready? You ready for Hellfest?
What is a Hellfest?
Dude, it's so fucking dope.
It's a traveling horror night, has horror mazes in it, and people totally lose it in there.
Are you ready to enter the depths of hell?
Hellfest, guys, let's do this! Come on. According to legend, a girl was killed here last year, for real.
Some girl got totally gutted.
Killer left her body in the park for 3 days. They thought she was a freaking prop.
Nat, they're fucking with you.
It is time for shots!
To Hellfest! To Hellfest! Look, working for me, baby.
Look, the more scared you seem, the more they're gonna come after you. You have to just play it cool.
I can just do it. It's like really fucking real in there. I love this place so much! Is that guy following us?
He's just an actor. They mess with everyone.
It's only following us. It's stalkerish. Hello? 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 The guy that I was telling you about was in there. Help me, wait!
So, what you just heard is a clip from Hellfest. And, you know, modern movies nowadays, I'm always on the fence. I watch a trailer, I'm like, that's going to be terrible. But this is actually a premise I thought about a couple of years ago when I was at Halloween Horror Nights. I had turned over, we were walking through a house, whatever, when it ended. I discussed this with the people that were with me. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to have a movie where the killer was killing people in the park, but you didn't know that it was actually them actually killing someone? Everyone thinks it's just part of what's going on. Because that's just a really scary thing. You go in there so vulnerable, and you know that you're not going to get hurt. It's just for scares. But then, lo and behold, there's like a psycho on the loose.
Yeah, and then of course there's been like at least one that I know of incident where one of the performers has died and then like been hanging around literally all night. Everyone just thought it was part of the exhibit, like a hanged man. But nope, he actually hanged himself, and his corpse was just hanging there all night. Sometimes clear into the next day before anyone realized that was going on. So, yeah, it's a super creepy concept to think about.
The film is overall. Did you want to go like piece by piece?
Or? We can kind of give a general description of it. It stars Amy Forsyth, I believe is her name.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in Channel Zero's No End House, which is kind of funny because it's also about people going to a haunted attraction with bad consequences.
Literally, it's her and her black friend that go to this house that just shows up in random places. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on Shudder now. I think now Shudder and like AMC, I guess they own that. They're joining forces or whatever. And now Channel Zero is going to be on Shudder, like permanently.
Yeah.
Like they're going to upload their things through there. So that is probably one of my favorite horror TV shows.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last couple of seasons, but the first two, what was the one about I know No End House was good. What was the other one?
The other one is Candle Cove.
Oh yes, Candle Cove, about the creepy puppets.
Candle Cove is effing awesome. Like, you definitely are missing out if you have not seen Candle Cove. It is like these are stories that were taken from
kind of creepypasta, early urban legends.
Yeah, that they made into like a whole different series. It's the same concept of like American Horror Story. But yeah, I watched American Horror Story the first season. I don't care for the other ones, but Chad's a devout watcher. He has.
Yeah, I've seen most of them. I think the only one I skipped was the Witches one.
Yeah, which I heard was supposedly good, but I have not seen it yet.
The other main person in Hellfest is Bex Taylor-Klaus, who you know from the Scream TV series, the last Witch Hunter movie with Vin Diesel.
Yeah, she's the short-haired, like girl.
Yeah, she's the one. She's been in a lot of things. When they need somebody that's going to be the kind of plucky survivor type girl, they got to go for her.
Yeah, she's in it, and well, we'll discuss like her scene later on. But what I thought was like kind of crazy is that the editor is like Greg Plotkin. He was the editor of Get Out, and he's the one who directed this movie.
Yeah, and he's been an editor on a lot of other things, like Happy Death Day, I believe, and some other ones like that. So it's kind of like his first break into things, but he's obviously knows what he's doing, because the movie was put together pretty well.
Yeah, and it was produced by someone from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like one of the producers of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, the Gail Ann Hurd, who's also like produced Aliens and a lot of other things over the years. So she knows what she's doing too.
Yeah. Well, we have our first scene opens up, and it is, you know, people in one of those like makeshift. It's like your local haunt. It literally looked like something that I've personally been through. You know, just one of those. You pay $15, you go in. You get some scares, you know, you're not breaking your bank going through one of these mom and pop. So these girls are going through this kind of mom and pop haunted house, and they get approached by someone they think is part of the house, but he's not. And he proceeds in killing one of the girls.
Yep.
And there starts the legend of the haunted house killer. Yeah,
the body found inside the thing doesn't found until days later. And then you see our group of characters that we meet. They're all preparing to go to the haunted house that night. And they head out there, and things are going pretty well until while they're in one of the houses, they stumble across the killer again after a new victim. Someone he just kind of randomly picked out of the crowd. And not realizing that it's real, they just think it's part of the attraction. The one character tells him, "Go ahead, do it, kill her. I mean, I don't have time to wait all night. You need to hurry up and do this." Which he then does, kills her right there, stabs her to death, and she starts to get a feeling that something might not be right about it. But
something is amiss.
Yeah, but then that's when the killer decides that, well, I've already killed one person tonight. I need to move on to the next one, and it's going to be you.
I feel like, we don't really get to see, we only got to see like a little peek of what he had done that night. So it's unsure if he just killed that one girl. And I think that maybe that was his first time killing, was the first time we actually see him kill in the beginning, is the one girl. And now this is his second opportunity. And he's going to go and up the body count, so to speak. He got into the park because it is one of those pat-down scan
metal detector
ones. They did his whole body, nothing sounded off. But later in the park, he happens to swipe a knife from one of those, like, icy
the
guys.
ice cream, what do you call it, the snow cones.
Yeah, snow cone guy had a knife.
Which, man, he really must have some serious snow cones, because that was an intense knife to be using on snow cones. I mean, I think a butter knife would do just the same job, but... No,
he's like, no, this ice is, like, real old and hard, and it's kind of yellow, like I peed on it, but...
So I'm going to need to stab it with this, like, makeshift machete.
So he goes with this makeshift machete, and goes... And it seems like his anger is... Maybe that's why the Gail Ann Hurd, like... It seems like his anger is geared towards... woman, because both girls kind of like fronted him, kind of like, you don't scare me, like, you're nothing, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you who I am, like,
and then and they show him kill other people, but it's more kind of like just to terrify the female characters.
Yeah, he does kill,
a lot of people in this.
The body count is high.
And I will say that for, unlike a lot of the slasher movies, it took its time getting to the first kill of like one of the main characters, so you do feel a little bit more, you're
somewhat of a connection. They do give some back story to each character in a way, and like how the main character, Amy Forsyth, how she has come home from like, or come to her like to hang out with her friends for the weekend from college, and she has a hot for this guy, and this guy like hooked them up with tickets to get to this Hellfest thing. And it's gonna be like kind of like a hookup deal from like her end. She's like giddy, I'm gonna go on a date, and whatever. There's a lot of character development. There's an actual underlining story of the friendship per se. It doesn't get too deep, but you do care more than you normally would care.
It kind of follows a little bit of the Scream formula, where you see a murder right at the beginning, and then it's a while before you see anyone else killed, and then but once it kind of picks up with the killing, it kind of goes a little faster after that. But like I said, it really is a different formula than what you see normally. Most of the time, it's just, oh, here's character A, B, and C. Oh, we killed B and C. Now A's got to fight against them. But this time, you kind of actually care what happens to B and C.
Yeah. So, and especially if you're a Bex fan, I mean, I was like, oh gosh, she can't die. We know her from all these other TV shows / movies, and I want her to survive because she's likable. Even though typecasting, who said typecasting, you always have a job?
I think it was Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vincent Price.
She was in the Exorcist TV show too.
Yeah, she's the same character in every...
Yeah, she's kind of the same one in every show, so you kind of know what you're getting as soon as you see her.
Exactly. There's no real range in her acting. I mean, I'm sure maybe later on, there doesn't need to be that much range for a horror movie.
Yeah.
But later on, I'm sure later on she'll develop that. But right now, she's in it to win it with her, like, plucky, sarcastic, smart-ass, character.
Kind of she's a little smarter, or usually a little bit more ahead of the other characters and what's going on in that.
Yeah.
But I will have to say the kills in this were pretty good. They do a lot of good makeup jobs, a lot of effects on it, and I would think it looked to me like it was all kind of practical stuff.
Yeah, the kills, I would say it was mostly practical. The kills look fantastic. For what it lacks in other things, it definitely makes up in the kills. There's not really... I wouldn't deem this movie scary.
No, it's not really a scary... I mean, there are a few... There are a lot of jump scares in it, but that's kind of like being at Universal's, being at Halloween Horror Nights, or at one of those, where someone jumps out from behind a corner with a chainsaw or a knife and goes... You see a lot of that.
They could have called this movie Jump Scare, but they can't because it's already a podcast.
Yeah, there is a lot of jump scares in it. But to the point, after a while, we were trying to count them, and then we were like, I think I lost count around 9 or 10. But it's not bad. They're not distracting like they are in the other movies, because they are in a park that's trying to scare you. So when there's jump scares, it's kind of a logical thing that, oh, okay, you're not going to... They don't stand out, and they don't seem as forced as they do in a movie where it's like, oh, I'm in a haunted house. Oh, it's a black cat. Oh, it's another black cat.
Maybe.
What was that one we watched? Stage Fright, where it was like, how the hell did the cat get inside a locked car?
It was like Edgar Allan Poe cat.
Yeah, he was like the cat who could walk through walls from Robert Heinlein. He was just passing through walls. And
that's exactly. He got in through the tailpipe, obviously, Shad.
Oh, sorry.
It's so obvious. The whole jump scare thing, I hate it, but it is, like you said, relevant in this movie of them having so many. But they're also not there like every 5 seconds, and they're not, and they're there, like, there are some jumps where you don't really, even though there's supposed to be jump scares, you don't really are like, oh, another jump scare. You're like, oh shit, it's a jump scare.
It's kind of when you walk, like, I think they were trying to give you the feeling of being in the park like that, where you're walking, you come out of the bathroom and the guy just jumps out from behind the bushes and gets you. And we said the same thing when we were watching, like, the people who were like, oh, nothing like that bothers me. Well, then why are you going to the park?
Yeah.
Like, the whole idea is to go there and be scared. I always hate the people that are like, oh, I never blink at that. I don't look at anything.
Public service announcement. If you do not care to be scared or to have people scare you, stay your ass out of an amusement park that is solely meant to scare you, like Halloween Horror Nights or any of these mom and pop things. Don't go there like a douchebag saying, "Oh, that doesn't scare me" or whatever. Then you could have saved your $12 and stayed home and watched some other, TV show.
Or the people who get angry that the people scared them.
Yeah,
you went to the
was
park
the point.
to be scared, and now you're mad that the guy jumped out with a chainsaw and scared you. How dare he? I've seen that too, where the people are like, they get really angry.
They're appalled. They're like, what?
That person scared me? They were aggressively trying to scare me?
How dare they?
That's their job, to aggressively scare you. But yeah, so you get a good feeling to being in the park, and you get a combination of the, you see the park and, the cheesiness of it, and yet a lot of it's really well put together, but some of it has the, typical cheesy, random assortment of monsters that you're not really sure how they all fit together. So you're kind of bleeding from one area of the park over to the other, and you don't really know where the lines are drawn.
There was no concise theme. There was no overall, but there were themes within their sections.
Yeah.
So that was good. Someone needs to make this a thing. Halloween Horror Nights people, make this a thing. It's a year-round horror haunt. That needs to be literally a thing. I could understand probably we have the same thing every time, all the time. People are not going to be scared anymore because it's going to be the same thing. But it was a very cool concept of going. My part that I probably like the best was when the children, quote unquote, came out wearing their burlap sack masks and their burlap sack gloves.
Yes. I've never seen anybody put the burlap bag over the hands before. I gave it a creepy homemade doll look to them.
Yeah, and then they dragged them into the fog and over like a hill.
Yeah, that was super creepy.
Yeah, I really like that. There are some parts of the haunt that are, like Chad said, super cheesy. They have the whole walk-in mirrors, kind of thing, carnival-esque feel. But then there's parts of it that are just open field,
Yeah, and I do like the idea of them taking the train from one part of the park to the other. That was part of it, where they had to get on the train and kind of go from one section of the park to the other to get to the final scare zone at the end. And of course, you're getting scared on the train as you go. That'd be something that'd be great to see them adapt in Universal. Have you had to get on the Harry Potter train, go from one park to the other, and be scared while you're on it? I know they probably couldn't do because they couldn't alter the Harry Potter train.
Yeah, but and then also that other side of the park is not open during Halloween Horror Nights. But if they wanted to expand and have that part be part of Halloween Horror Nights, they could.
I kind of wondered why they don't, because that would cut down some of the wait times everywhere else. If there were some exhibits on both sides.
Yeah, maybe they don't have that many. A lot of their lots are in the other side as opposed to the island side that don't have a lot of lots.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to convert Spider-Man the ride into a haunted house.
Just put put the Green Goblin. No, oh wait, he's in the ride. The Green Goblin's in the ride.
Just put Venom on the ride.
There you go, Venom. Just put Venom on the ride.
You change everything to Venom for 5 days. It switches over to Venom.
Can it be the Tom Hardy one where half of his face is shown and it just looks hilarious?
It can be that one, and then it can also be the Topher Grace one throughout it. Until 8 o'clock, it's Topher Grace, and after then, it's Tom Hardy.
Okay, we digress.
Yes.
So, what was your favorite part of the movie? Or favorite kill?
I don't want to spoil the kills for people, but there's a couple of good ones in it, especially one involving a hammer. I think my favorite was probably at the end when it becomes, it's kind of hard to say without spoiling everything. So, spoiler alert, when the killer, it becomes apparent that what's going on, because there's been hints that's going on and people have disappeared, but when it becomes obvious to everyone what's going on, I like the fact that the killer just didn't hold back. He just started stabbing people, and that the park just clears out. They start flashing alarms for everybody to run, get to the exit, and then everything just kind of goes to hell. I really enjoyed that.
And it has a very unique ending, which we will not give away.
Yeah, but I've definitely not seen that in a movie before.
No.
And it leaves it open for there to be a sequel, obviously.
Of course. The movie took $5.5 million to make?
Yeah.
And it made like 3 times as much.
Yeah, so I'm certain there's going to be a sequel to it probably coming out this year or next. And of course, you had Tony Todd popping in a small role as one of the scare actors. And it's always good to see him pop up in things, even if it's just for a small part. He really sells it. He knows how to, when they put him in a costume and tell him just to go crazy, I don't even know if they had a script. They probably just had him do his thing, and he knew how to do it.
$17.5 million.
Yeah, so they'll be definitely making a sequel to that.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yes, please.
I'll take the 0.5.
I'll take both. Just
Okay.
add them together. I'll take it all. Tony Todd, and he's wearing like it. Part of me was like, are we now in Candyman 3?
He did have it was kind of like a combination of like a voodoo / Willy Wonka outfit.
Yeah, what's the name of that terrible Candyman, the third one? The one that's like set in New Orleans.
Oh, it might be Day of the Dead. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is Day of the Dead. Literally that's what he had, a long coat. His face was painted like a skull, a skeleton, and he had like a big top hat. He looked like the voodoo king of New Orleans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, at the same time, the colors were a little Willy Wonka-ish.
Yeah, it was really Wonka-ish. Yeah.
So it was interesting to see him in it.
He was awesome. It was like, oh yeah. I hope he got paid.
Yeah. So this one is definitely going on our list of ones that's good. We enjoyed it a lot. And like I said, as for jump scares, the count in it, I lost count after about a dozen. So there's a lot of them in there, but like I said, they don't feel forced.
We're going to say 12 plus jump scares, and I'm going to give it 2.5 knives.
I'll go with the full 3.
You know, full 3? Okay.
All right. Now, the other thing we want to talk about that came down yesterday was the trailer for the new Netflix movie with Jake Gyllenhaal called Velvet Buzzsaw. All right, now that's definitely different. I wasn't quite sure what to expect with when I heard they were doing that, because they didn't really say much about it. They just kind of dropped that trailer, and it looks insane.
At first, I was like, oh, Jake Gyllenhaal is just some nerdy curator or art critic. And then I see that crazy bitch from Hereditary, Toni Collette, and I'm like, oh no. And then I see John Malkovich, and I'm like, And then it continues. It's a pretty long trailer, and my face is literally melting of how amazing this looks. This looks like an episode from, like, The Night Gallery.
Yeah, this looks like an episode of Night Gallery or Black Mirror or something like that. That's definitely got... It also kind of reminds me of the Stephen King book, Duma Key. It's about there's a scene in that where there's an art exhibit and they sell a bunch of paintings that are all come to life and start killing people, which is, from the trailer, what seems to be happening in Velvet Buzzsaw. So it definitely looks like it'll be worth checking out. I don't think I've seen any kind of trailer or anything with that creepy imagery in it. And anytime you're like, what the hell? Why are there monkeys working on a car that are suddenly just jumping out of the painting? That's never a good sign.
I have so many questions that I cannot wait to be answered. February 1st, which is my birthday month. It's going to be a pretty good beginning to a month. It's going to be limited theatrical release / Netflix.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would like to see that on the big screen. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that looks like it'd be amazing to see on a giant screen.
It's a fantastic cast. It's the guy also did that other movie that Jake Gyllenhaal was in, Nightcrawler, which I have not yet to have seen.
But I heard it's pretty
amazing.
Intense.
So I'm really excited to see where this is going to go, how the spirit, how he put, what spirits were in the painting, how he, all we know is he's in an insane asylum and his paintings are coming alive and killing people. That's all we know. Like,
there's blood on some of them. Yeah, it looks like it'll be pretty, I can't wait to see it. February 1st can't get here fast enough.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you do that, Netflix? Why don't you just put it on there now?
Yeah, they could just upload right now and you can watch it.
Like they did with the Cloverfield one, where they were like, hey, guess what's going to be on in 2 hours? Cloverfield. Enjoy.
Yeah. Well, that was a crap movie. So
it was a terrible movie, but it was great marketing. It was a great gimmick.
So jump scares? plus 12
Yes.
for Hellfest, and this one we look forward. You know what? I'm gonna say it's gonna have. Let me do a future jump scare number. I'm gonna say it's gonna have 5 jump scares.
I was gonna go for 7, so we'll see who's right.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for this edition of Jump Scare. We'll be back soon with another one. Until then, stay scary.
Bye-bye.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.